long before Timothée Chalamet tried on a purple hat, and even before Johnny Depp's bizarre interpretation, there was Gene Wilder's. Imagination is a secret. This 1971 masterpiece made us believe that rivers of chocolate were normal transportation, and that trusting a mysterious confectioner with questionable labor practices was perfectly normal. Today, we're unearthing 20 strange facts about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Fact 20. Some of the set was edible. Yes, it's true. Eating props on most sets is a ticket home, but Wonka encouraged it. Gene Wilder himself confirmed that about a third of the candy factory was completely edible. Those mushrooms, giant lollipops, and teacups, they were all real sweets. But before you get too excited, the rest was made of wax, cardboard, and other inedible materials. One long bite, and you're chewing on a piece of props. Fact 19. Young stars have changed careers. What do you do after surviving a psychedelic sugar factory? You must be changing careers quickly. Julie Dawn Cole, our Veruca Salt, went from demanding golden eggs to handing out life advice as a psychotherapist. Denise Nickerson, Violet Beauregard, left acting at 21 and became a receptionist. And Michael Bollner, beloved Augustus Gloop, is now a lawyer in Munich. Most of the kids didn't chase Hollywood fame, but chose stable jobs. Fact 18. Charlie also left the movies. It would seem that the role of a child who inherited a chocolate empire is the start of a great career. But Peter Ostrom, our beloved Charlie Bucket, said, "Thanks enough," and never acted again. This was his first and only film. Instead of scripts, he chose animals and became a veterinarian specializing in large livestock in New York State. He traded fame for real life. Fact 17. One of the actors appeared on Jeopardy! Mike TV seems to have traded his shrink ray for a game button. In 2018, actor Paris Tamman, the same TV maniac in the cowboy hat, surprised fans by appearing on an episode of Jeopardy! He didn't mention his past at the factory, but fans recognized him immediately. He came in second place, winning $6,800, not exactly a golden ticket, but not bad. Fact 16. The genie wasn't just known as Wonka. While he'll forever be known as Willy Wonka to many, Wilder was a comedy legend even before he donned the purple suit. He starred in Young Frankenstein, The Producers, and Shining Saddles. It's surprising that with such an incredible career, he's best remembered for his role as the pastry chef. But when you create a character this iconic, it overshadows everything else. Fact 15. Grandpa George was almost blind in real life. This is a heartbreaking detail from the filming. Ernst Ziegler, who played Grandpa George, lost most of his sight due to gas poisoning during World War I. During filming, he had to follow a red light to know where to look. Think of that level of professionalism. He acted with virtually no vision, trusting the crew to guide him through a magical world he couldn't see. Fact 14. Many believe that Gene was passed over at the Oscars. The film received one Oscar nomination in 1972 for Best Original Score, but Gene Wilder was completely ignored. Some critics consider this one of the biggest robberies in Oscar history. Wilder created a character who was both charming and terrifying, bizarre and sensible. He made us love a guy who was essentially psychologically torturing children. That takes some serious acting. Fact 13. The stars, of course, ate a lot of chocolate. Peter Ostrom, Charlie, said that he and Gene Wilder would often sit down during breaks and just share a bar of chocolate. Picture this scene: Charlie Bucket and Willy Wonka calmly snacking together, like normal colleagues. The kids, surrounded by sweets, didn't hold back either. Who could blame them? When you're standing in a room with edible wallpaper, you're not going to politely nibble. Fact 12. The kids on set adored Gene. Despite playing a character who put children in danger, Gene Wilder was a favorite of the young actors. Julie Dawn Cole, Veruca, described him as a warm, kind person who looked after her during filming in Germany. He became something of a caring uncle to them. That makes his performance all the more impressive, being so caring off screen and so devilishly unpredictable on screen. Fact 11. The famous chocolate river was actually disgusting. While a chocolate river sounds like a dream, the reality was a nightmare. It was made of water, chocolate, and cream. And by the end of filming, the cream had gone bad. Imagine the stench, which must have violated all sanitary regulations. Actor Michael Ballner, Augustus, had to fall into what was essentially a river of spoiled dairy products. That's the magic of cinema. What looks delicious on screen is often disgusting behind the scenes. Well, before we get to our top 10, make sure you have a golden ticket to new content by hitting the subscribe button. Trust me, the production issues we're about to talk about make a spoiled river of cream seem like a minor inconvenience. Fact 10. The film delayed the filming of Bob Fosse's Cabaret. The filming of Wonka went behind schedule at the Munich studio, which delayed the start of work on Cabaret. Imagine you're Liza Minnelli, ready to sing, and you're told, "Sorry, the people at the chocolate factory aren't finished yet." The most surreal scheduling conflict in history. We can't start filming our dark musical about Weimar Germany because the Oompa Loompas haven't finished singing yet. Fact 9. The majority of the film was shot in Germany. The entire cast relocated to Munich, with the exception of Michael Ballner, Augustus, who was from there anyway. It's pretty crazy that this quintessentially American children's film was shot in Germany. But Munich's anonymous, timeless architecture was perfect for creating Wonka's world. A place that could exist anywhere and nowhere at the same time. It gave the film that slightly strange, fairy tale quality. Fact 8. Gene was offended by the 2005 remake. Gene Wilder didn't buy a golden ticket to see Tim Burton's version. In an interview, he called the film an insult, not to Depp, who he liked, but to Warner Brothers and Burton himself. He accused them of chasing money, not magic. Wilder's version was mysterious, chaotic, but still lovable. As he himself said, "He was a strange, cheerful guy, not a strange, gloomy guy." Fact 7. The film was considered a box office flop when it was released. When Willy Wonka was released in June 1971, it grossed just $4 million against a budget of $3 million. That barely covered its costs. The film seemed destined for the dustbin of film history. It's hard to believe that this beloved classic was initially a commercial failure. It must have broken the heart of the Quaker Company, Oats, which financed the film to sell its chocolates. Fact 6. But one legendary critic loved it. Despite its box office failure, Roger Ebert wrote a glowing review of it. He called it everything that family movies usually claim to be but aren't. Wonderful, funny, scary, thrilling, and, above all, a true work of the imagination. Ebert saw genius where others saw only oddity. His review helped the film survive before it found its audience on television. Fact 5. Some things were kept secret to get real reactions. Director Mel Stewart used some clever tricks. The kids weren't allowed to see the chocolate room until the day of filming, so their surprised faces are completely real. Stewart also kept all of Gene Wilder's somersaults at the entrance a secret. When Wonka went from limping to acrobatics, the shock on their faces was real. Even the terrifying scene in the tunnel with the boat was a surprise. No one warned the actors about Wonka's psychedelic breakdown. Fact 4. The young actor for the role of Charlie was found in Ohio. 12-year-old Peter Ostrom was spotted at a local theater in Cleveland and was immediately offered the role. It's like a real-life version of the story of Charlie's golden ticket. Only instead of finding it in a chocolate bar, Peter found his in a community theater. The casting directors must have seen in him the kind of sincere, humble quality that Charlie needed. Fact 3. Roald Dahl hated this movie. Yes, the author of the original book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory absolutely despised this adaptation. He didn't like the title change, which shifted the focus from Charlie to Wonka. He found Gene Wilder's acting pretentious, and he called the music sweet, sickening, and sentimental. Dahl was so angry that he practically disowned the movie and became very wary of other adaptations of his books. Fact 2. Gene Wilder had a clear vision for his costume. He didn't just wear what he was given. He wrote a detailed letter to the costume designer. insisting that Wonka should be a vain man who knows what colors suit him, but for all his eccentricity, has surprisingly good taste. This is serious analysis of the character. He created the visual psychology of Wonka. Every button was intentional. This attention to detail is what made the character so iconic. Fact 1. Filming began without a script. Roald Dahl was supposed to write the script, but instead, he only provided a rough outline. The team had to bring in David Seltzer to actually finish the script while filming was already underway. Starting a big movie without a script is like trying to make Wonka's chocolate without a recipe. This explains why some of the scenes feel so loose and improvised. Maybe that's part of the magic. And here they are, 20 strange facts about the sweetest movie trip. Which fact surprised you the most? Maybe we missed some secret of the golden ticket? Let us know in the comments. See you next time.